Meeting will come to order.
Can you all hear me back there now? Okay. Public comment.
Unmute your mic.
Well, I was doing good.
Technology, it's great.
Am I on now? Okay. Is there anything on public comment we need at this time? Now, if we continue, I'm gonna read the minutes.
I got a request, if I can. We're doing the, the torch run before the shindig down at the Smoky. And I was wondering if I could spend $2,000 to help promote that for the rest care clients, help buy their shirts and stuff. I was hoping I could use commissary $2,000 to do that.
I don't see a problem with that.
Budget
Okay.
to do with the
Wanna make sure.
Fine.
Okay, thank you.
No other comments this morning?
Checks we could sign while we're.
Yep.
Oh, gotta get my stamp. Where's the file cabinet at now?
In our vault at the top of the stairs.
Okay. Lisa, is there a, do you guys do anything with the website for the Smoky anymore, or is anybody doing anything with that, or?
The website for the Smoky?
Wasn't there a Facebook page or something for the Smoky?
I haven't done anything with it because I don't have access to it. I mean, we promote it on the website.
Okay.
And we promote it like on our side of things as one of the attractions, and it's actually one of our, in the I-70 brochure that we, for I-70 Association, it's one of the attractions on there to, so if people are traveling, that's the one piece of literature that people pick up, and it hits all the steps on I-70, and that's one of our debut things in there.
Do you think we need to do anything with Facebook on that?
Personally, I think, I don't think we need to. I get phone calls nonstop about how to make reservations, and I think it's kind of confusing to have the Smoky one and then our information, because they don't know who to call. So anytime they call, I just say it's first come, first serve. But
So I wonder who had the Facebook page?
yeah, I don't know.
Who's a board member? I can't remember.
Last time it was posted on.
So, when you have discussions like this,
Okay.
Oh,
she doesn't have a microphone.
Oh,
sorry.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Oh,
Where,
to the mic.
We'll have to learn.
Sorry. Yes. So I don't have access to the Facebook page, but what I was saying is on the website we do have it as one of our attractions, and it was one of our debut things on our I-70 Association brochure that goes out through across the state. So I don't know who has access to that, but I know I get plenty of phone calls about how to make reservations, and I always just tell people it's first come, first serve. There's a box there that says, you know, has the form to fill out, and then you just pay the utilities if you're using a hookup or if it's just a campsite for the night. So I don't necessarily know who has access to the Facebook page, but I know I don't.
So maybe we should find out who had it and just turn it off then, so that just all the stuff goes right to you, so there's not confusion there then, huh?
We could do that, yeah.
Okay.
I didn't know who was. so
I'll
we
get
could
hold
do
of some of
that.
the old board members, find out who was controlling that, and see if they'll just delete that for now then.
Perfect.
Okay?
Thank you.
Good morning. Good. For the latecomers, we're still in that comment area. If somebody wants to, till 5 minutes, so if there's a public comment you need to make, you can go up to the mic. Tell us what a great job we're doing if you want, or.
I'd ask a question.
Yeah, to get it recorded, you'll have to come up here.
Okay.
So has the hospital shut down the dialysis center? Do you know?
I do not know that for
I
sure.
haven't heard for sure. I think it was going to run for sure until tomorrow, but I don't know the exact date of when they were shutting that down.
Okay, I just was curious, so thank you.
I do think it was a good thing that the hospital had found a place for all the dialysis patients to go, which I didn't realize that till I went to the meeting that evening, that they had found a place, because that's pretty tough for some people to find a place. Did you get a chance to look through the checks this morning, Steve?
What's that?
Did you get a look through the pay voucher this morning? Okay, I didn't see anything that looked abnormal or needed to look at or anything, so. I'll make a motion that we pay the bills on the first pay voucher of $24.80, the second one for $5,000, and the third one is for $144,984.70.
second that. Motion's been moved and seconded to pay vouchers. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passed.
We'll give Steve just a few minutes to read the minutes, and then we'll get them approved.
Is the live streaming going yet? Is it
Yes, it's
functional?
being recorded right now.
Recorded or streaming?
Oh, that are all.
Both.
Okay, somebody just told me they're having trouble accessing it. They can't get in. It says their maintenance on the site or something.
The website is down. I
Okay.
haven't, since the website is down, I'm not posting the link. I have nowhere to post it.
So it's not streaming right now?
It is to YouTube, but.
Oh, okay.
So they go to YouTube.
So they can search Sherman County YouTube?
Sherman County Commission,
Okay, on YouTube.
yes.
Thank you.
I've called every one of these meetings.
I know, sorry.
Sherman County, Kansas, or Sherman County? Showing up.
Hello, Nick.
Oh,
Hello. Okay, well, I'm in a meeting,
Sherman
so.
County BOCC.
Okay.
Oh, Sedgwick and everybody else.
Am I back on? Yep.
BOCC.
Did we get sod laid yet?
What's that?
Did we get sod laid yet on?
Yes, it's
Okay.
all done and ready to go.
Now you have to start mowing.
I finished that about 5 o'clock this morning.
Okay.
What is that? Oh. We'll learn this technology. It'll just take us a while.
So Sherman County BOCC, Kansas?
So I just searched Sherman County on YouTube, and it was the second video that popped up.
I keep coming up Sedgwick. Sherman County. Yeah, Sedgwick.
Well,
Yeah, it comes up. Peerless County.
Okay. Except for Rod calling the meetings to order.
There was one other thing in there, at the hospital board meeting. It said Patty Thompson, and it should have been Patty Eckhart.
Do you know which ones that was?
When they're asked about doing the exit interviews.
Oh, right there.
Okay. With those corrections made, I would make a motion to approve the minutes.
Been moved to approve, I'll second them. All in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passed. Gonna have to get a monitor over because my glasses aren't focusing
Oh,
on
can
what-
you make it bigger? No. It's time for the GAC.
GAC, come on. Thank you.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning, guys. Ashley, did you get them what I emailed you yesterday?
Did you send it to my old email or the?
I don't know, I had trouble getting your email
Okay.
yesterday, actually. So I'll just give you guys each a copy of this. I'm glad I made it.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so I kind of came to you guys about the ARPA funds. The GAC's got a project kind of that we'd love to see happen in our future. If you look there, we'd like to add a nice wooden gym floor, basketball court to the south of us, and then make some modifications inside the building. Probably been a while since you've been inside there, but during the COVID shutdown, we did take advantage of that time while we were shut down, and new carpet painted, just gave everything a fresh look while we had nobody in there. But it's a pretty pricey dream that we have. I think something that all of our community can benefit from, you know, whether you're a member or just a visiting day pass person. But it would take our front lobby when you walk in, our boardroom, the weight room, and our aerobic room would all become one big room. And that's where all the weights and the cardio stuff would go. Then the short court that's in the gym would become our big workout room for like Zumba, spin bikes, which we've just added in our yoga classes and those classes. And then that basketball court would be a nice hardwood floor. And then towards the southwest corner, we'd add an indoor batting cage. So just some modifications that we think would be a great asset for our community. So just kind of coming to you with a letter there that kind of what not kind of, but it is what the GAC does for our community. There's our proposal for our project. We just kind of got this initiated and started. We had this on the board. I don't know. We've been talking about it for like 5 years, and finally it was time to make the motion. You know, you couldn't really go forward and look for grants and how to move forward with this project without a budget. So we finally had to just bite the bullet. And so with the architects that are in town doing Topside and some of those other projects out of Garden City, that's who we approached while they were here. And they took the time the last couple months to just sit with us and help us with our drawings and help things take the steps to move forward with them. So I don't have a clue what you guys have planned for some of those funds, but I just thought I would come and approach you guys and leave you that information. That's something you could look forward to or look over and see if that's an opportunity for making an establishment better for our community.
Have you guys applied for any grants like with the?
Not yet. We are really just in the very early stages. You guys are our first group that we have come to, but we have had like Dane Hansen, the big Dane Hansen on the board, you know, trying to come up with like, so we can say to them, hey, we have some matching funds. We do have some things in the work with like a T-Mobile that's got funding, a Patterson Foundation out of Eastern Kansas. So there are some things so we are just really in the very, very infant stages of this. Like these drawings just got to me, I think 2 weeks ago. So
Okay.
very early stages.
So these costs to do that, I mean,
Mhm.
is that a contractor look at it, or is it just something you guys have estimated, or?
No, so we had the place out of Garden City do that, and then they basically will set up who comes in and helps does the
Do
construction.
subcontracting.
Yeah, yeah. And from what I gather, Jaleesa O'Hara is also on our GAC board and helps with that. But like when they did the top side, they tried to use local contractors for some of those projects. So obviously, I would assume that that's the same route they would take when we get ready to proceed with this.
So if you can come up with the funding, it'll be approximately a $2 million project.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Whitaker, are you here for Sandy, or are you waiting
Yeah,
for?
we're here.
Okay, she's coming in right now, so.
Come on in, Sandy.
Sandy, we have a new format, and you get her microphone right there to,
You want me to sit here?
No, we want you to talk to well,
Oh, you want me to talk?
yeah, we're trying to.
We can,
You can come up here, we have a
you
portable.
can come up here and sit down, and we either have a mic, or you can use Mr. Blake's where he's not available.
Say, so we've had a request to record our meetings,
Oh, okay.
and so this is brand new today, so we're all learning.
I have Lonnie and Bernadette here with me.
Come on.
Come on
Dean.
up. You can all come up here if you want.
That's fine, I'm sitting right here.
Okay.
All right.
But Lonnie, we,
I don't know, they can talk from there, I guess.
We're just here for more.
thank
Alright.
you.
Okay. Get situated.
Yep, not a problem.
There's a couple of packets with the budget, and I'll get Bernadette. So what you got there is what, am I not talking?
There you go.
Okay. You've got the budget that we prepared and approved at our last board meeting, and we're asking for the same amount as we did last year. And, you've got the operations fund there, which is what, all salaries and operating costs are paid out of. The second page is the enterprise budget, which is money that we generate through tree sales and grass seed, and we do our kind of extra non-operational things out of, like high school scholarships and education programs, and any equipment that we usually need and stuff comes out of that mostly. And this page is, I just filled it out so I could leave actually one, and it really doesn't mean anything until you guys decide what you want to do. The next page is the highlights for 2022, because behind that is the Sherman County Conservation District Annual Report and Financial Statement for 2021. But since we're into 22 and talking about 23 budget, some of the highlights, of course, we held our annual meeting in February of 2022. I moved back into the USDA building in March. I had been at the Historical Society building from August, the end of August, till about the middle of March. Very grateful to have that opportunity to be able to keep working and be available to our customers. We had Tree Day in April. We had a pretty good tree year this year, considering. Our main focus, and Bernadette can talk to you a little bit more about that, but we've been extremely busy with CRP signups and the EQUIP program and those programs that NRCS handles. Of course, I'm still involved with Western Prairie RC&D, and the 9 district managers in our area make up the Conservation Alliance, and we're planning a Women in Denim conference for September 30th and October 1st. We're kind of excited. Gayleen Shank is going to be one of our speakers, and our theme this year is Winds of Change.
Where is this gonna be held
It's
at?
going to be held in Colby this year. And we will, we usually have about 50 women, and it is our version of a Women in Ag conference to include our ag women in the communities. Lonnie and I attended Conservation Night at North School in May, and we held the poster contest, and the kids all did little PowerPoint presentations to a conservation subject. And also, with the Food Council, we have a local advisory team, which is called the CAT team, County Advisory Team, and we have helped quite a bit with the greenhouse project and plan on continuing to do that. Our education program, we usually have a big kids roundup in Colby and have 400 fourth graders there, but with COVID, we didn't get to do it the last 2 years, but we plan to this year, hopefully. We adopted the board did the 2023 Sherman County State Water Resources Cost Share Program. It was approved by the Department of Conservation just the other day, and so we'll be taking applications in July for conservation work and some septic system work. And
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
So I had a gentleman call me just the other day, but he's just the edge of Cheyenne County, so I told him it wouldn't help here. But is there any money available right now to change the old cesspools over to the newer septic system?
there will be July 1. We
Okay.
used all the money we had last year so far, but yes, there will be.
How much money do you usually get?
We usually get about $10,000 or $11,000, and it's going to be limited to $2,500 per application, and it has to be a failing
System.
cesspool. It can't be, okay, I'm gonna go build a new house and let's put in
Right.
it's got to be their goal, and our goal is to, get rid of the cesspools as much as we can.
Do you know about what that costs now to change?
Yeah, about $12,000.
Okay.
So the 2,500 doesn't
That'll help.
go a long way, but it does help.
Okay.
And so we will be taking applications for that in July. I was gonna get an ad in the paper soon when they kind of get settled and
Okay.
all that,
All right.
so.
Well, thank you.
Okay, and, like I said, the local county team for the Food Alliance will start meeting again in August in person. COVID really, and me being out of the office, kind of played heck with some of the day-to-day that we got to do and get together, but hopefully will get better. RC&D, it has been meeting in person the last few months, and we're kind of the fiscal agent and for the Food Alliance and for the District Manager Alliance as well. And so we've been involved in a few projects lately and are working on some, they're small grants, but maybe local things that we can do, whether it's, to help more with the greenhouse or whatever our team comes up with for community involvement. We are planning a field trial this year because in the budget, you'll notice, I'll have to explain that in a minute, there's $3,500 there that is, it's a grant through DOC that has to be used on a field trial. And one of our board members, Delcy Wendell, is working hard on that. It's I don't totally understand it yet. It's with the Aptera company, and it's regarding ionization of water, whether that makes a difference on the crops. So we're working on that, and that plan or project was approved by the state too, that we could do that. We had to propose a proposal of what we plan to do with the Department of Conservation, and they thought that might be a good thing. Looking at the possibility of our staffing needs, we got a grant, and that's shown up on the budget too. Well, it's probably more on the financial statement at the very back, but there's about $27,000 in there that really is not the conservation districts. It's a grant if we choose to hire somebody. Brett went on to a different job in November of 20. Just the COVID restrictions and things, he just decided to move on, and the board, we haven't really decided how we're gonna handle, whether we're gonna return the money or hire someone. So that's, so if you took out all the grant money that we have in the operational fund, probably we ended the year on $8,000 or $9,000 left us off. So we budget pretty close, I feel like, but I wanted to explain what that money was about. We have a new soil conservationist, and the officer name is Lindsay Beasley. She's been there since January, and she's doing a good job, and we're really pleased to have her. And of course, I think you met Bernadette last year, and she's here. I'll let her talk here in a minute. As the supervisory district conservationist, and that's a plus to have in Sherman County for sure. So I'll let her talk a little bit.
Yes, so as you guys know, I cover 5 counties, but I'm housed here in Sherman County. One of the benefits of our partnership with the Conservation District is that Sandy has full access to my staff. While I have people housed in the different of each 5 counties, I don't have boundaries as far as where they work. So many times they come down to work with Sandy and help her with her soil water resources grants. I think what else I was gonna just give a recap. You know, we execute the Farm Bill programs, and we have an agreement in place with the Conservation District on what their role is in helping us execute the Farm Bill programs. But Sandy actually goes over and above that, and I was able to get permission to get her extra payment for the Conservation District for the work she does over and above, due to the number of CRP contracts that we have out here in western Kansas. So how much last year was
I think
that?
I made about $1,100 that we could add to the operational fund.
Right, she's
for doing extra work on CRP.
What is the renewal rate for CRP, roughly?
This year, everyone that applied for renewal was accepted.
But it didn't matter what the price was? I mean,
My understand that's an FSA program. We do the field work for it, the conservation planning, but they are the ones who actually approve and accept it. And my understanding was everyone who put in a renewal offer was accepted this year.
okay.
That's not always the case, obviously.
Sure, yeah, I know. A lot of times it's by points. And, okay.
Yeah, and that's a very large workload here in western Kansas for our offices. So it was a tremendous help that Sandy was willing to step over and above and do some extra things. We are, in fact, understaffed. I have vacancies in the office. Made an offer for a rangeland management specialist, but they declined the offer. And like she said, we hired Lindsay. We also have another soil con position, which I think is why the district is questioning whether they are ready to fill that technician position again or not, or if it would be better utilized somewhere else. So we're kind of talking about that.
No, it's a nationwide problem, shortage of help everywhere we look, so.
Absolutely can't get animals in to get slaughtered.
Yeah, I know.
Understand.
Yeah, okay. All
Do
right.
y'all have any questions about I think you guys are pretty familiar with the relationship between NRCS and the district and how they
Yeah.
allow us to work with the local
Yeah.
producers.
I don't have any questions, Steve.
I don't have any, your explanation of everything here is very good, and you know, next year's gonna be a big tree year, cause there's a lot of dead trees out there. There's, you know, and established trees, you know, 4 and 5 foot trees are gone, and so.
Is it drought that's killing all these cedars and pines you see around the windbreaks, or?
That was my assumption, but when I've been speaking with a few other people, they've suggested that the foresters are looking into it because it seems to be even trees that have been irrigated we're losing. So I don't know if it has more to do with the heat-cold patterns or if it's a combination of factors.
For sure is the cold pattern that, you know, a year ago in February, there was, you know, we lost over 100 trees in our windbreak that had water, but, you know, it just froze them.
Okay. Well, we appreciate the job you girls are doing.
Yes.
Thank you for facilitating this partnership. I think we get a lot done together, and it's,
You bet.
Yep,
it's
I would
been
agree.
very good.
So you think those figures look okay?
Yes,
They look
I do.
good.
Yep.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure I explained why there was 3,500 plus 27-some thousand, you know, that was grant money that we have no access to except for.
Certain, it's earmarked for a.
Right, but it's really been wonderful to have these opportunities, you know, like to have a field trial.
Mhm.
Consider hiring someone.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for Brett, it just came at a bad time.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Okay. Oh, I didn't leave my purse in my bag. You guys have anything?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good week. We're down to the county department heads for the, I guess, you got something else you need to do for that? Okay.
There's one set of Fireboard Minutes. And then here's another set.
Is there 2 pages or just one?
I don't know.
Still just one, isn't it? Yeah, just extra copies.
Get it later.
What was the budget last year for the fire department?
Like what we levied for?
Yeah.
We levied for 277,859.
Okay. You don't need these minutes that correctable wrote on, do you? Okay. I didn't see
Do
them.
they look good?
Yep, looks fine to me. Okay, I guess we're ready for the county department heads and talk about the, unless you got something else we need to do.
I do.
Something else.
Here's a emergency vehicle designation application for a firefighter.
Just one here?
Yes.
I don't know the gentleman.
So their driving record and everything's in there, and proof of insurance, copy of their driver's license.
Everything looks fine?
Yes.
Okay. And this is just so they can put the lights and stuff on their vehicle for winter. Okay. I'll make a motion to approve it.
I'll second that motion. Been approved, moved and approved to allow emergency declaration or application for emergency vehicle All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion passed.
Thank you. This is for the Smoky Gardens activity permit for Michael Dorn to allow them to do trap shooting again this year.
Okay.
I think that's this weekend. Yeah.
This upcoming weekend.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we pass the activity permit for Michael Dorn for Smoky Gardens Memorial Park.
I'll second that motion. It's been moved and seconded that we approve the application for activities at the Smoky Gardens this weekend of the 17th and 18th, right? Yes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion is passed.
Morning, Rod. Morning, Chrissy. You're on video, so don't.
I feel like I always am on.
Yeah.
And here's the Smoky Gardens Next Tech agreement for the repeater, right?
Yes, did you
Yes.
review that? Okay.
Brett reviewed that.
Brett
Yeah.
reviewed it, and the last meeting it was tabled. Commissioner Blake wanted to review it, and he didn't see any problems with it, so.
Okay. I'll make a motion, we accept the site lease agreement from Next Tech for the repeater down there.
It's been moved and approved.
Moving second. You got
Do I hear a second? I second it. So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion is passed. Do we have a place to sign? There we go.
Looks like we got all kinds of board members or department heads here with their wish list. Okay, what else you got for us? Man, you got a whole bag of
We
stuff
have
here.
a Task Force 7 transfer of property agreement.
What are we transferring here? Definition. I don't see what the equipment is, do you? Brian, can you tell us what the equipment is? No?
Should say it right on there. Yeah. Hydrofusion Strat Kit.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we
Been moved.
accept the transfer of property.
I'll second that motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye?
Opposed, same sign. We'll transfer. Yes, we're the physical agent on this.
Yes.
If anything goes wrong with that, Steve, you're liable enough to do
I
sign the
know it.
paperwork.
And there's 2 pieces of mail.
We never did receive anything back from High Plains Mental Health. You know, I asked about their finances for this last year. Because they were requesting the same amount in the budget, but they received like a $4 million grant this year, so I'm just curious.
application for board member for the hospitals.
Okay.
Have we received any besides that one so far?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
This is just minutes from our last meeting for the High Plains Mental Health Center.
Okay.
That's it.
That's it? Okay.
Do you want yours?
Sneak in here first before I go upstairs.
Well, you have to have a microphone now, sir.
Thought I talked loud enough. I've got several elementary school teachers that would have said that. So here's the county attorney's office request for the ARPA funds. We've got some computer monitors, some bulk office supplies. There's a CD DVD duplicator, which obviously with Highway Patrol and Sheriff's Office, we have a lot of dash cam videos and whatnot. You put the original up top and you can burn up to 5 copies at once, which goes out in Discovery and everything else. The one we have, I think, is about 7, 8 years old, maybe a little older than that. Needing replaced. Then some minor things. The girls in the office wanted to upgrade some of the office Christmas decorations, and then the entryway, that bulletproof glass. We've had an issue with it ever since we got it, trying to hear through, and Eric has found us an intercom system deal to where you can hear better through it, and then a new computer.
So your total, what you're requesting is 6,500?
Yes.
Were you gonna do anything about the remodel on that?
So we had considered in our conference room, there's, and I don't know if you guys can see from the outside, there's our office and then skinny room back there. And there's a big wall that goes in between it that makes our conference room very congested. And so we discussed trying to have that wall knocked out to open that up, to have more room. We had somebody come and look at it to give us a bid. They were concerned that it might be a supporting wall. So we're still gonna have that looked at for maybe a request later down the road, whether it's through ARPA funds or capital outlay, but I don't have a bid for you today.
Okay, that's fine. Okay,
That's what I got.
all right.
All right, thank
Thanks,
you.
sir.
Thank you, guys.
Who's next? Chrissy, you're sitting right there.
closest.
Take your microphone.
Next up on the Price is Right. Okay. I always have handouts.
We love handouts.
I did 2 lists. I did the ones I would really like to have, and then some that would have to pare down or whatever the case may be. The main one, Eric and I have been talking a lot about the 911 backup site out at the police department. The first project listed is a cloud server. We're having to estimate the cost because we don't really have all the information right now. So we're saying possibly around $30,000. What this would do is not only help out there, it would get us out of the loop of purchasing hardware servers that actually sit in dispatch and get us instead out into the cloud. What that can do is we can access from anywhere as long as we have an internet connection. It also puts the burden of them replacing hardware, and if something breaks, that's not us trying to come up with parts or replacement for those things and us being down. So a lot of
Okay.
those systems, it's my understanding there's a lot of redundancy built in, so that would help us. So that's my #1 project. And then as you can see down the list, I do have a spare radio console computer that came with our system years ago from our grant. I'd like to get that out of the closet and actually set it up out at the backup site as well, but there's some costs associated with that. There is a quote in your packet, but the top line item is irrelevant because that software license key is not available any longer. So we can take one of our software keys from the dispatch center currently out to there if we have to, and it'll stay active for up to 2 weeks. So we could rotate those out if we had to. If it gets that bad and we're out there for 2 weeks and we can't get back to our dispatch center, we have bigger problems.
Yeah.
So anyway, I would like to take a pretty serious look at that. And then, of course, outfitting the backup site with the necessary computers that we need. Each workstation has 3 computer monitors, so we would need 1 tower and 3 monitors to set up 2 full workstations. That would get us very close to what we're working within now and make it a very familiar situation to where if I have to pick up and leave the dispatch center in the city building, I'm not having to do a lot of thinking and adjusting to do my job out there. It would be almost identical. So that's my goal.
Same way.
Correct. And
Okay.
the backup side again would be, of course, disasters. You know, we would activate it monthly just to make sure everyone's familiar. And then if we have to do any sort of, say, carpet replacement or desks or anything where it would just be more convenient for us to vacate, then we would be all set up out there.
Okay.
I did a lot of smaller projects, so in case those would fit in any place or we've got some extra money, those are just additional things. We will eventually need fiber internet out there to do everything that we want to do fully. So that's the first thing listed. Yeah, those are just incidentals.
Okay.
Very good. I like the way you categorize them or list them as a top priority and second.
Done a few great projects before, so.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Rod? Being you're sitting on the front row, you're gonna get.
Okay, I guess we'll start out with the noxious weed and a mower for the Smoky Gardens / cemeteries.
So this is,
Well, there's two bids on that same one. If you flip the page,
Okay. There's a Ranger and.
yeah, the Rangers for the weed department and the mowers for the Smoky Gardens and the cemeteries.
so about 9,200 to trade for a new Ranger,
Right.
and to trade on the mowers would be about 10,000.
If that's through John Deere, and then there's the bid for a mower through.
Smoke-
That mower through John Deere, if you're gonna, if you want the rear discharge, he doesn't know when he can get one. All they can get right now is the side
Side
discharge
discharge.
through John Deere. But Matt's got the Hustler in stock out there. But
Okay.
it's-
Well, I know it's another, what, $3,000, but I wouldn't buy especially what you're doing out there without the rear discharge.
Right, 'cause you eat a lot of dirt.
Well, you eat a lot of dirt, you can mow a lot faster because not throwing it from one blade to the other.
And the
You
same
don't,
with-
no windrow.
And the same with mowing the cemeteries, you ain't throwing it all over the headstones.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, down there, you're not taking a chance of throwing a rock across hitting a
Right.
car or something.
Right.
So anyhow, it'd be about, is this difference or the cost?
The top one, there's the one you want. He bid two, we want the 60.
So
So
it'd
the
be
12,000.
12,000. Is that difference or that just costs more?
That's just the cost. He didn't bid trading that one in. We'll have to sell it outright.
I see, okay.
And this other mower is same deck width, you're going 60 inches on
Right,
the.
but
But
it's,
it's not,
Yeah.
it's not a rear discharge. Okay. So that's for the Smoky Gardens, there's a mower, and for weed department, you're thinking new Ranger.
right.
Okay.
And then next would be the landfill. And I put a loader on there, trade for a newer loader. And the loader that they bid there, being they can't get, they're hard to get too, is a used one with 400 hours on it and it's not bad price.
But it's still the same,
Right, you still get your 5-year warranty and everything just like it was new.
where the heck's the price at? We're getting there.
Back page, 45.
Trade allowance is 45,000.
Yep.
New,
90.
so it'd be about 194,000
Right.
difference, okay. How many hours on that loader out there?
And about 8,500.
Just getting a few hours on it.
Okay.
And being it's in the landfill, that makes it worse too.
Yeah, that's,
Hard use hours.
okay.
Yeah. And there's Road and Bridge, and I numbered them. 1, 2, 3, 4 there. Or I
So
think 3.
remodel the washroom,
Well, they're lights. Redo
Oh.
the lighting in there because the lighting's terrible in there, and he's gonna put LED lights. And
okay, that's 5,700.
this time of year, it ain't bad when you can open the door, but in the wintertime, it's
Yeah.
add in there.
Well, probably a lot more efficient electrical
Yeah,
wise.
exactly, yep. And then that is the new Freon, you know, they're coming out with that 1, 2, 3, 4 new Freon to replace the 134A, so you're gonna have to go with new machine, evacuating machines and gauges and everything for that.
Okay, so that's 8,400.
Yep,
Okay,
and then the loader there for the trade that old 950 in.
Is this the one you had the transmission trouble with?
No, that's the newer one, the transmission one. Now, this one so far has been fine.
How many hours on it?
It's just a hair like 8,200.
Okay.
Yeah, the other one had, what, a little over 3,000 of transmission when that hit.
that's,
146,000. Is that right?
No,
No, we're back. That's Case IH here.
yeah.
Let's take this paper clip off. There we go.
okay. Trade for 221,000.
Yeah, that's,
They're giving you
110
110.
for the old one.
Pretty decent trade there. Okay. And then this is,
and that's a mowing tractor.
okay,
That's, you know, trade for one of the ones we're renting this year.
You just, oh, I see. What would you be trading off on it?
That one, the old 135.
Okay. Be 68 difference on that. Okay.
And that's
put it
about
all in.
You can
put it
decide
all
what
into
to
the
do.
calculations to see what we
Yep.
come up with.
How much is in that? 1.3?
1.1, we haven't received the second amount yet.
Okay. Okay.
That's about it.
All
All
right.
right,
Thanks,
thank you.
sir.
Yep.
Brian, you're up.
Stare right at me and hand it to me. Okay. So this is for communication equipment for both fire and EMS. So right now we are dealing with a loaning or a loaner repeater right now for the fire department on top of NSI because our repeater went malfunctioned, and so we got a loaner right now up top. We also have issues with communications on the east side of the county. Brewster Fire
Yeah, I noticed that in their
cannot-
minutes.
Brewster Fire cannot communicate with dispatch via handhelds, anything in the Brewster area, nor if they ever get into Levant, which is, of course, their district goes from County Road 29 all the way to Levant. So, and then anytime that we have vehicle accidents on the interstate, anything past Edson, our handhelds are extremely hit and miss. We go digital quite a bit with our UHFs, and it's just because it goes into such a lull right there. And so anytime that I'm trying to communicate with my guys, or my guys are trying to communicate with dispatch, or I'm trying to communicate with dispatch, it's very hit and miss. Sometimes I have to have my radio in the air with my mic in my hand like this. It kind of looks kind of funky. So anyways, point of this is trying to get us to 800 megahertz radios, which means that we can communicate with dispatch. We can communicate with LEO, Sheriff's Department, Police Department. We can also communicate with Thomas County. They all went to 800s. Cheyenne County is 800. Rawlins County is 800. Kit Carson County, they are 800. The only county that's not 800 right now is Wallace County. So anytime we do mutual aid with these other departments, we have to try to figure out how to communicate with each other. Sometimes it's communicating through dispatch. We tell them, and then they relay that off to the other counties, and so forth and so on. So
Through the phone.
So is our radio system, so you can't talk to Road and Bridge, or you can, or?
no, we can't talk to Road and Bridge.
And you can't talk to the Sheriff's Department or the Police Department?
The only way we can talk to the Sheriff's Department, Police Department is in all of our apparatuses. We do have 800s in our apparatus, but we don't have handhelds. There's a difference. So anytime we would want to talk to another agency, we'd have to go walk from wherever we're at back to that apparatus, get on the radio, and then talk to whoever it is.
So this update, is this putting us a step closer to getting that where everybody can communicate?
Oh yeah, we go to 800. I mean, everybody's 800 right now, which means that we could probably, I'm not a radio technician, but we can put everybody's frequencies in our radios so that we can just flip over to that channel and we can talk to them, no problem.
Okay. That would be a,
And then you can talk all the way across the state.
Yeah, so so like Task Force 7, if we get deployed down to wherever in our 21 county region that we are responsible for, we can have our 800s and we can go down there no problem, communicate back with our dispatch or with whatever agency that's in that area. So yeah, same thing with our wildland apparatuses. If we get requested to help out with a large state wildfire somewhere, we can actually head down, and typically those agencies are 800, so we can just flip over to those national. It's NW, mutual aid. There you go, mutual aid.
Burton had a comment. Would you just go up to the mic so we can hear it?
Now, you're gonna tie into the state system, or are you gonna have a local repeater like
Yes.
the PD does?
Yeah.
And it's gonna be tied in?
Yeah,
Correct.
so that's
Yeah,
part of
okay.
this also, is that we'll be on the state, is this thing on?
Yeah.
Anyways, we'll be on the state repeater, then also we're gonna have our own repeater in city limits of Goodland.
Would you have to switch between them, or should it be automatic? If you unencrypt, it should go.
I'll have to talk to Vance about
Okay,
that.
I believe, and I'd like to see the PD change to where they don't have their local.
Right.
They're unencrypted now, they ought to be tied in.
Yeah.
The same way, I'd like to see that updated.
Sure, I'll just talk to Vance about that and see how it could be.
That, I mean.
Be like a cell phone
When we
tower.
upgraded our radios, that was the problem, that we left everybody behind, and we couldn't communicate emergencies. So this is a project that's well worth it.
So this system is 384,000. Have you guys talked to Dane Hansen about any grant money for something like that?
We have, well,
Or applied for anything through Dane Hansen?
not the radio stuff.
Okay, I'm just curious. Because, I mean, this would be a great project for the entire community, it looks like. So I bet Dane Hansen would help with that. But we'll see what we come up with money-wise.
Money-wise, to see how much we can share with everyone.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah, total cost is
380.
is on that one.
419.
Oh, I looked at the wrong page.
This is just the radios. This is,
That's through BLS to actually hook everything up and get us going.
So this is 385. What's the difference? What are we adding on after?
Well, that's all his labor cost for him to
installation.
Okay.
install, programming, touching every radio.
So what's the life expectancy? I mean, it seems like we're always talking radios are outdated. I mean, it seems like every time we turn around, the radios are outdated, we need to upgrade. What would you think the life expectancy with this would be?
I could, I mean,
5 to 10 years before they come up with something different you gotta change?
well,
to?
no, I'm not saying we're gonna need to do that. What I'm saying is that everybody's 800 and we're UHF, and we're kind of dinosaurs right now on the fire EMS side, so.
Okay.
Communication has been a major issue, and it's been a safety issue for the fire department for quite some time, and we got this money now to pay for that, so when safety is an issue, I figured.
Yeah, okay.
when you go, if you put the 800 radio repeater on Schooler or NSI, will that be able to cover all the way across our county area, or what is it?
So right now, the state repeater technically covers the entire county of Sherman
Okay.
County. The repeater that would go on our water tower, be the water tower here
Okay.
in Goodland, would help cover indoor type activities.
Okay.
There's some hit and miss areas indoors with
So if your crew is inside a building
fighting fire.
fighting a fire and they have an 800 radio, they're
Right.
more apt to have
Right, we can switch over.
connections.
We can switch over to the Goodland repeater instead of the state repeater, which would help our crews interiorly communicate with incident command, and in case anybody has a Mayday situation, they can call out, or if they need more
assistance or more of
whatever
anything.
they need. Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So before you went on someplace like that, there's a tower north of Brewster, between Edson and Brewster. I don't know, Motorola used to own it, I don't know if they still do or not. But when I farmed, we had a repeater on there and our own radios, and that was the old UHF, and we could talk from Burlington, Colorado to Binkle, Nebraska to Sharon Springs past Colby off of that one tower. So would it be an advantage to look at the tower getting it that high?
Before narrowbanding,
Okay.
in a nutshell.
The stake system is completely different in that tower as it is.
Okay.
It's state controlled. We don't have any of the infrastructure locally except the local region.
Okay. I was just curious, because I know the height of that tower, man, we had great coverage, so.
The reason it's also good is wavelength. The reason it's also better is the wavelength is much longer and travels longer distance. We're at 800, smaller wavelength, so it's blocked by leaves and whatever else is blocking it.
So 800 is newer and better, and yet it's not better because it doesn't travel. Okay. Now I'm totally.
Latest and greatest and.
So when the federal government, when they narrowbanded analog channels, it was shortly, that was right before I became chief of the rural department, so it was like 2009, 2010, is when they narrowbanded everything. And problem was that the regular analog UHF, it really brought down the distance of what a typical radio could go out with.
Okay.
So that's when, after I became chief in 2011 of the rural department, the city and the rural department then went to UHF digital, which then kind of, it opened it up a little bit more, not a whole lot more. We're still UHF digital, but it's still narrow banded. So we got a little more distance, but not much as what we were before the federal government narrow banded everything. So.
Okay.
Again, the nice thing about 800s is that it's like cell phone towers. If we are fighting a fire up in Cheyenne County and we're closer to Cheyenne County State repeater, our radios automatically transfer over to that repeater, and then dispatch can still hear us. Same thing if we go all the way to, hypothetically, if we ever go all the way to Topeka, you bounce off of different state repeaters all the way down, and then you can talk to dispatch, just like the sheriff's department. Like when they go to Larned to drop off a psych patient, they're talking to dispatch on their 800s, and it's clear as
Okay.
day. It's just, like I said, it's just like a cell phone.
Okay. Well, it looks like a good project. We'll have to see how it will come out number-wise, but even if it doesn't work number-wise, I think we ought to be looking at a grant for that.
Sure.
Through Dane Hansen for a community thing, so, okay?
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Now it's your turn to hand it off.
First one is my recreation yard. I wish I'd bought in a steel a year and a half ago when I first priced it, because I was gonna do it most of the work myself, which was saved a bunch, but also the steel price has almost tripled on what it was gonna cost. But basically, by getting a yard installed, we'll have more secure area. We can get the inmates out for outside exercise again. Since we lost our tennis court, we haven't been able to do outside exercise. The second part of that is the equipment. It's all stationary, non-moving, so it's safe for them to use. But that's the equipment for the recreation yard. Uniform upgrade. The current uniforms are no longer manufactured. We need to upgrade, and so I was going to try to phase it in, do half of them 1 year and the next year, but if we can do this, I'd get them all done. The firearms, 20 years ago, we switched from 9mm to 45 because KHP did so, mainly so that we could share ammo and we work together. 9mm has become the norm, mainly because the ballistics have improved so much greatly. I mean, the stopping power, the best way to say it, of the 9mm has increased almost 3 times in the last 10 years. And also it's more accurate officers are usually at least 10-15% more accurate with 9mm than they are with 45. The tasers blew my mind, the cost for that. Our tasers, actually, I said 14 years old. I think they're over 20 years old. I've been upgrading them and fixing them through spare parts, but they're no longer supporting these. The new ones just kind of blew my mind when I priced that for upgrading the tasers.
How many of them do you
That's
have?
12.
12, okay.
And that's actually, they'll normally finance it over 5 years, and that gives me cartridges and everything for 5 years in support. And so it's a 5-year, they normally would have you pay for over 5 years, but if we can, I'd like to get it out of the way so I'm not have to pay.
Do you get extra cartridges right away with the taser, or do you?
Basically, I think they send a spare, but then any uses, so that we're never without it. It's the new one is basically, it's a double cartridge, so you can change which cartridge you're using or no
Okay.
cartridge by just by movement of the taser. It's basically the newest one. That's the only one they actually sell anymore. All the others they quit supporting. But yeah, that number blew me away when I.
Is it firearms the same 12 on that?
What's that?
Firearms
Yeah,
is the same 12 on that, okay.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, it's only 10 firearms.
10. Okay.
The duty leather, most of it is over 8 years old and starting to look worn, and we need to get it uniform, kind of make it go with the new uniform, so.
Okay.
The jail upgrades, flooring, I want to epoxy the floor in the cell areas to help with cleanliness and appearance, but also the carpet up front is over 20 years old. It's getting to where we can't even clean it or do anything with it. It just looks stingy. And then the inmate equipment, just the mattress, blankets, sheets, towels, just upgrading that.
Very good.
Is there any one of these you would prioritize?
I really need to get the exercise yard because.
So this would be your number one?
1, 2, and 3, just the way they're listed?
The way they're listed.
Okay.
The uniform, I gotta start doing something with that. It's like I said there in the budget, I gotta start buying uniforms, but they quit manufacturing the ones I have, so I gotta get that switched over. The tasers, I've got a lot of spare parts, but I'm getting to the point where I can't get anything anymore. I'm starting to run out of batteries and different things.
So like on your firearms, let's say you go to all 9mm, do you sell the 45s then, or what do you do?
That depends on what we want to do. I could usually, we offer them to the deputies to buy them.
I see, okay.
So, we recoup some of that cost on that, so.
Okay. And tasers, they're just junk, see it?
What's that?
Tasers, they're just junk, I mean, they're outdated. So
Pretty much. I can't really sell those to the public or anything.
Nobody wants to buy a 15 to 20-year-old piece of
Well,
equipment.
they probably would if they're working, but
Yeah.
I can't really, they're made for law enforcement, so.
Okay.
But, yeah, I had another deputy tell me they started airing yesterday, and I'm like, well, I gotta figure out why it started to air. But yeah, they're just old. I got, like I said, a lot of spare parts were given to me by other agencies, so.
Okay. You have a copy, okay.
All right.
All right.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I actually gave you a copy of my bid when I did my budgets, but our copier is starting to die on us, and I've tried to call to get it fixed, and nobody will fix. They say it's not worth what it would cost to repair, is not worth what the machine is worth. And our fax machine works sometimes and not other times, and we've had Eric look at it several times. He gets it running temporarily, and then someone will say they send us something that's not working. So we're needing a copier. So we would like to get a copier / printer, scanner, fax machine. Just get one, it's all in one. A lot of things we're trying to go paperless, and that way we have a scanner. We have scanners on the little desktop ones, but a lot of times you have to do one page at a time. So this you can put in, 30, 40 pages, and it'll scan it all at once. It scans to email, so we have a lot of appraisers and realtors and stuff that we send stuff to. We can just put those documents in there, hit to email directly to them, and yep, that's all we
Okay.
need.
Well, that's pretty easy.
Yep,
Yes,
thanks.
Thank you, ma'am.
Mine's gonna be short and sweet too, so. Let's see, I don't know that I've been in long enough to have a wish list yet, so all we've got is, our copier is on lease. Did you hear back from them at all?
So, I text you. So,
Oh.
we both got a copier lease at the same time, and that's really, we had discussed that's probably the only thing we would need.
I kind of rough figured our payment by what we should have left, and it's between $5,000 and $6,000 to pay it off, and then we'd own our copier.
They'll price out like a car, like they'll do to the end of this month, and that's as far out as they'll go, so.
So your wish list is about $6,000?
Yeah.
Okay,
And that would probably be max, because I don't
Yep.
think I even hit that, but
okay.
that was a
Okay.
rough estimate. That's all I got.
Well, that was easy.
All right.
You're not bringing any papers, that's,
I don't have anything. So I've been fortunate with a lot of our COVID grants. I really don't have much, but the only unallowable expense was a vehicle. Our vehicle's near 70,000 miles now, and my girls are traveling to 8 different counties for childcare licensing and 6 for WIC, so.
Is it giving you any troubles? You know, because,
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet, but you know, in the next,
so you'd like,
as many miles as we put on them.
you'd like to upgrade the van to a new,
Yeah, I mean, I've looked locally and there's nothing, you know, this might be something we have to order or, you know, go outside of the county to, I don't know. But,
okay? But, and we don't have any idea on the cost on something like that, probably.
I mean, like for something new, I was looking between 40 and 50,000, but,
Okay.
you know,
Okay.
obviously we'll have a trade-in and.
Sure.
But that would be the only other
Okay,
thing I need.
well, that's pretty easy.
Okay.
We'll just pencil in 40,000 on your side while we're doing the figures for the week.
Assessing that with government right
Yeah, I mean, we typically get a minivan because that works best for us and all the things that we have to take. So, I mean, they're not as expensive as
Probably 30
SUVs
maybe?
and whatnot.
Yeah, good.
Well-
Rochelle, what was your pickup? Sorry, I know my thing is.
28?
28, I think.
Yeah, so.
And of course, your van with 70,000 miles, way used vehicles are, would bring some pretty good money, so. I would think 25,000 or so difference would trade you into something pretty new, okay? Okay.
let's say 25.
Yeah,
Okay.
25,000 on that. Okay,
Thank you.
no, William.
I'm trying to get some prices to finish updating the bathrooms to,
Use
Just put it close to your mouth, yeah.
update the bathrooms for, touchless paper towels and touchless soap and the faucets
Here in the courthouse, or?
out there at the fairgrounds.
Okay.
For the bathroom on the north side of the ag building and the 4-H building, and then over there in the bathrooms that's in the carnival building. And he was supposed to have prices for me today, but they haven't showed up yet.
Okay. Well, I guess you can get them to us when you get them, but that's only on your wish list right now?
Yeah. Right.
Well, that's pretty
I'd
good.
like to make them more sanitized, yeah.
Okay. Okay, well, if you get that price, get it to Ashley as soon as you
Yeah.
can.
Well, I was hoping he would send it to me by now, but he hasn't.
Okay. Okay, all right.
All right. Give it to Eric.
The only thing I could really think of was in the courthouse. The exterior doors are key fob, but all the offices are still keyed. I would like to try to find out what it's going to cost. We've ran into issues. These are cassette style doors, so the lock mechanism looks like a cassette tape, and it slides in. and you've got knobs that screw on from there. There's no current lock set that works with that. What I've found is you basically have to cut a piece of wood, put it in where the cassette was, and then either cover it with a cover plate so that it still looks good, or possibly refinish that area of the door to make it work. I do not have any numbers, just haven't had time. So.
Okay, how many doors are there?
13.
Okay. All right. Would you have a guess on what it would cost?
The hardware for the doors is typically around $1,100, $1,200 a door.
Okay. All right. So if we plugged in like 1,500 times 13, be that close.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. That's it. Okay. All right. Who's left? Ryan? You have no wishes?
We got lots of extra funding, so, yeah.
Okay.
What is your plan for like community entities and whatnot?
For what?
Is there a plan for like community entities? You know, I take off my health department hat and put on community member hat and think, you know, what could we do with this amount of money? You know, especially if we reached out to different entities, like we had mentioned, Dane G. Hansen, maybe even the city, other grants, doing like some sort of big project, or is there going to be room for businesses and entities to, you know, like the GAC came forward today?
Well, we just want to see what the department heads brought to the table first and what the importance was, and then kind of add those figures up and then kind of go from there. I mean, nothing's been decided. Just kind of trying to get a feel for what the county needed right at this moment that would really be needed, you know. So that's why we just had each department head bring in their wish list of what they would want if the money is available, and then we'll have to decide from there, I guess.
When does this money have to be used?
Is it 24? End of 24? Yeah.
Okay.
So we got a lot of time.
2024.
Allocated by 2024 and then spent by 2026, correct?
I think so.
So we got plenty of time to make some decisions, but this was a starting point.
To see where we're at and, you know. Because we asked the department heads to bring their stuff, and we really haven't explored what avenues of how we're going to utilize these dollars, you know.
It's 1.12 million.
Did you all hear that? Okay.
Is this COVID money?
Oh, I guess, if that's what you want to call it.
What's it stand for? Yeah, I don't know what it.
It's the American Rescue Plan. So it's recovery funding from the COVID emergency. But they've opened it up now to where it does not have to be COVID related. Correct, Ashley? I guess just a comment on that too, kind of what Jennifer said, is I would like to see this money used in a way that impacts the community and the county, whether that be public safety, continuity of operations, those is first priority. I understand there may be other expenses down the road, but I mean, this is recovery funding, so.
Yeah, I like what Brian was talking about, the radios, the idea of getting everybody on the same radio. So if we do have a wreck or a fire or a problem, I mean, where everybody can be on the same. I guess it might speed things up, might save somebody's life if everybody can communicate instantly.
Well, and I think identifying what are some of the gaps over the last 2 years that we've identified in the community as well.
Yeah. Okay.
We figured out the government's not going to keep us healthy and safe, right? We have to take it upon ourselves, and I'm being completely honest.
Right.
Right? We have to be proactive about preventative health in our community, and that does include safety, as I mentioned. So yeah, I would love to see something big.
Okay.
Something tangible. You know, our taxpayer are going to see a decrease in our taxes because of the fact that, you know, as department heads, we spend on this, this, and this, but yes.
Well, I'm sure somebody that doesn't understand what we're talking about just wonders what the heck if they're watching this video right now. Look at these county commissioners just handing out money like it's water. Everybody's coming in wanting 300,000, 400,000 or 100,000, and we're like, oh, sure. But that's not the case. We're just trying to get a feel for where it could go and what would be the best place for it to go. And I mean, it's a starting point. So can't promise you if anybody will get any of this. We're just a place to start. So, anybody got any questions?
Where's the backup dispatch site?
Pass her the mic.
As many of you know, the police department moved out to the armory, and it's a rather large building, and they do lots of trainings and different things out there. They did offer some space to us in the back of the building that we can set up a backup site, because as of right now, we transfer 911 calls to Colby and then try to find an office to operate out of. So, pretty excited about that. At the armory, yes.
Do you know, is that tornado proof?
No.
It's not, okay.
It's not, but it's better than nothing at all. So.
Sure, sure.
It is cinder block. That is one thing that is beneficial.
Can't burn.
I mean, I wouldn't want to be in there if it was going to take a direct hit, but
Right.
we still have to operate. I mean, once we're down, we
Yeah.
don't have much. So.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay.
That's it.
All right.
Just have to put figures together and add them up and see where we, I appreciate you guys putting some priority list of items together to, if we can spread it out among the departments, maybe Sheriff Penalto might not get his flooring, but he can get his uniforms and his recreation area. But at the same time, not that the copiers are a lowball item, but they're still an item that could be utilized, and allow each department to have use of some of those funds. Mr. Roeder here, he deals in larger dollars than the rest of us do. So, but if we can get possibly one of them or something like that, then we just need to put add some figures together.
I think we definitely need to apply for like a Dane Hansen grant on the radios or that system there. I mean, I would hate to use some of this money if we can get a grant, and I feel like that's something that they would probably look at for a grant to help our community. You have applied for a grant on that?
I think when we got to you, I think that's what we.
Yeah, got a grant. So I think we need to apply for a grant on those, or on that system you brought to us, and see if we can get anything going there.
Keep in mind that a lot of your grant funders know about these funds, and I think they're gonna be asking, what did you use those funds on, and why do you need grant funding for these projects? Just something to keep in mind.
Sure, sure. Okay.
I do have one comment as far as the projects that were presented. I think they're all great. I want, if I had to place one vote, Brian's project is probably our most critical.
That's all right. You'll get used to handling that mic here.
I'll just repeat what I said. I think these are all great projects. There's a lot of needs in the county. We won't see this kind of funding come around again, I don't think. So if I had to vote for one project that would be the most beneficial, in my opinion, it would be the fire department's project.
Okay.
And EMS. Oh, sorry, fire and EMS.
Any other comments? Thoughts? Problems? Winning lottery numbers? Okay. Well, I think we are done for today. Can you compile all these numbers and send us out, and then we can maybe Rod will be, I don't know where Rod's at today.
We can look at it at the 21st meeting.
Okay, and the 21st we'll
Talk about it.
Talk about it again and
Okay.
kind of go from there. Okay.
Do I hear a motion for adjournment?
I so move.
I second it. It's been moved and second. We adjourn. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Pose same sign. Motion passed.